Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Hello and welcome to another live session that's led by me. I'm Lynda Drake, author of The Power of Imperfect Parents, and I have another book coming, by the way, about money from a spiritual point of view called The Power of the Financial Dance. And I also have an online course called The ABCs of Stress Relief. So today I'm going to start with a story. Just real briefly, I have 3 children. I have twins and an older daughter, a daughter that's 7 years older than the twins. When my twins were 15 and my daughter was 22, my son, who's one of the twins, who has Down syndrome, also has autism, mood disorder, diabetes, extreme behaviors, and his twin sister has severe life-threatening allergies, pain issues, that kind of thing. So when they were, and my oldest daughter has ADD and dyslexia and has dealt with some other issues as well. Well, when my twins were 15 and in high school, during their high school years, just about every month, my daughter would have an anaphylactic reaction to something she's allergic to. And that would lead to going to the emergency room. It was very scary. And my son with Down syndrome, he would have behaviors, and usually about 1 a month would be severe enough and violent enough that we would need to call the police. Well, right at this time, I don't believe anything is a coincidence. I think that things come into our lives when we need them. The reason you're on this call right now, the reason you're listening to this right now, is this may be something you really need to hear. So when they were 15, I was at church and I heard the preacher mention Polish Wild Bill. I didn't know anything about Polish Wild Bill, but I wanted to learn more. So when I got home, I did what all of us do, right? I Googled him. And when I Googled him, one book came up. And that book was The Gentle Art of Blessing by Pierre Pradervan. That's what we're going to talk about today, is sending blessings. Now, I didn't know. I had gone to church my whole life, so I knew about prayer, but I really had never made a distinction between prayer and blessings. Well, let me tell you about Polish Wild Bill. Polish Wild Bill was called that because he was from Poland. He had a very long name that was very hard to pronounce, and he had a handlebar mustache. So people just called him Polish Wild Bill. Well, in World War II, the Nazi troops came in and they lined up everyone from his village against a wall and killed them all. That included his wife and 4 children. Now, he was not a religious man, but he was a lawyer. So he had seen in his daily work what hate does. And he had just seen what hate did. He decided in that moment that he was going to love everyone he met from that point on. Whether he was going to live a day, a year, whatever it was, he was going to love everyone he met. And he did. Well, when the troops came in to free the people from the camp, they used his skills, again, his language skills. And he had so much energy. He would work all day. They would work like 14 to 16 hours processing people so they could leave. And all the other troops would be so tired. They'd be like, oh, come on, we got to stop. And he'd be like, no, that person's been waiting all day. We are going to stay here and get it done. So the Allied troops figured, well, he must not have been here very long until they heard his story. He had been there for over 4 years, 4 or 5 years, but his body hadn't deteriorated. His mind, his soul hadn't deteriorated like everyone else because of love. I decided then that was going to be my goal, to love. To love, I say that my goal is to love all things in all situations at all times without exception. Hi, Anne. Yes, and this is in the chapter on letting go, which we talked about a little bit yesterday. So going through all of those things with my twins, and my oldest daughter was going through things too at that point. Really, I believe the only thing that kept any sanity for me and kept me grateful and joyful as much as I could be was the practice of sending blessings. Let's talk about it. So blessings, it's not a religious practice, and all you have to do, all you have to believe are that the universe, there's beautiful, loving energy in the universe, whatever you want to call that, and that everything is energy. The words I'm speaking are energy. Thoughts are energy. This little pad of stickies is energy. And science is proving that now. They're showing that. So you need to believe that everything is energy, and our words and our thoughts can affect energy. I have a video on my YouTube channel that shows me using these. These are called dowsing rods, and they're very sensitive to energy. So I do an experiment with these where I show how powerful words are. And I'll walk towards somebody saying bad things. Like, I hate you, you're stupid. I can't believe I'm spending time with you right now. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can tell, but do you see how they're closer together than they were when I started? I can't believe they just did that. I didn't think they would do that. So if I'm walking towards somebody and saying bad things, they're going to come together. Now, if I walk towards somebody and I say loving things, I love you. You're so wonderful. I love spending time with you. You're so beautiful. They go out. Now, they didn't really go out that time, but they do go out. Like if I was walking towards somebody and not at the computer, that's what they would do. The other thing about them, if you are walking towards somebody and saying bad things, saying negative things, but that person is thinking in their mind, that they love themselves, that they're worthy. The dowsing rods just stay straight. That shows you the power of words. So you do have to believe that in order to send blessings. And let me see, knowing that our thoughts can change the energy, so important. I want to read this bit in the book about sending blessings so you have a little better understanding. In the war for 40, and fighting its negative effects just with love. We all have access to love. That's the really cool thing. And we can all afford it. It's not very expensive. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read about blessings. A blessing is different from a prayer. When you pray, you're asking a higher power to do something. For instance, dear God, please heal my child. With a blessing, you take the beautiful energy from the universe, send it through you to the other person or situation. For example, I send you blessings of healing energy flowing through you, blessings to the doctors and nurses helping you heal that they are in their right job, blessings of gratitude for their courage, wisdom, and healing ability. It's very powerful. It is the most powerful when you send a blessing to someone who you believe has done something wrong or something that brings up anger for you. For instance, I recently had my credit card stolen and used for over $1,200 of purchases. I sent the person a blessing that they see themselves as the perfect expression of Source or God, whatever you want to call it, completely loved by the universe, that they live in integrity and are in their right jobs. Make sure when sending a blessing that you say it in the present tense and say what you want to become reality. What I want is for the person to live in integrity and compassion, not for me, but for them, because I know they will have a more joyous experience of life if they live in integrity and compassion. Now, I have no idea what effect that had on them, but I know that when I called my credit card company, they quickly reversed the charges and took care of the situation. I was able to let go of any anger I might have felt and instead send love. When we hold on to anger, it's like taking poison and expecting the other person to feel sick. It's like worry and fear. It doesn't help us when we hold on to it. Ooh, I'll have to look that up, Jared. Blessings from Laura's story. I'm going to check that out. When you send blessings, it must be from the heart and full of love. That's really the only rule. It must be from the heart and full of love. When you have that feeling of worry in the pit of your stomach, change it into a blessing. Some of us have that worry with our kids. Maybe they're traveling. Maybe they're doing something that we're just not sure what's going on. Turn it into a blessing. Instead of dwelling on worry, send a blessing. Sending a blessing that they see themselves as a perfect expression of Source, that they are surrounded by love, and that what is in their highest good is what will happen. Highest good is what I say a lot, because the truth is, we don't know what is in somebody's highest good. We don't know what they're here on this earth to accomplish, why they're here. So when we say, I send you blessings that what is in the highest good is what's happening, that can be very powerful. Because honestly, sometimes what's in the highest good is the person dying. We're all going to die. And there are times when there's a lot going on with that person, and the freedom of death is what's in their highest good. Blessings blessings of gratitude are also powerful. Send blessings of gratitude for the day, your home, your relationship, the challenges that you are going through, because of the wonderful lessons they reveal to you. Anything for which you are grateful. You can also send blessings as you're driving. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, it's much more effective to send a blessing You can just send love. You can just say, I send this person love. I send blessings that they can feel the love from the universe all around them. All of us are completely cherished by the universe. But just anything like that, blessings of gratitude, they're in their right job, right place to live. Anything that comes to your heart. And the interesting thing about sending blessings, I've done it now for 15 years, and you just get more intuitive about what that person needs. So you just become kind of more connected to that person in a weird way, just for a second, that you can send a blessing that will be helpful to them. But it's way more powerful, definitely, especially when you're in traffic or whatever. I used to send a blessing on my way to work when I worked at Bayard. I would send a blessing that Bayard is a place where all people are loved and valued, where all staff is in their right job, and it's a place of abundance well used. I never just send a blessing of abundance. I always add abundance well used. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a nonprofit agency or an individual is to get a whole bunch of money at one time, because it can be very hard to understand how to use it well. Oh, good. Let's see. I believe so. The difference between prayer and blessings. Yes, I believe people should know how they differ from each other, because most simply equate prayers equals blessings, which isn't right. It isn't true. And I'm not saying don't pray. I've grown up Methodist. I've gone to church all my life. All my life, I've gone to church. So blessings is very powerful. I mean, prayer is very powerful, but I've never had prayer change my life like blessings have. And I think it's because it's so much more personal. Like I said, I'm bringing that energy in through me to the other person. And the most powerful really is when you think somebody has wronged you. You know, one of the things, we're all doing the best we have, what best we can with what we know. If somebody has hurt you or whatever, send them a blessing that they see themselves as a perfect expression of source. Any advice on how someone can also give blessings out of love instead of necessity or expecting reward? Definitely should always just be out of love. For instance, when I sent that blessing to the person who had stolen my credit card, I didn't expect anything in return. I just know you cannot be living a joyous, loving life and steal. You can't. You cannot feel your true self, your true connection to source. And you just and do things like steal or be mean to people, it just doesn't work that way. So definitely just try it. And if you think it's going to be hard to expect something, try sending blessings to people you will never see again. As you're driving, just as people are driving by you, I send you blessings that you are going to your right job. Blessings of gratitude for all that you are, all that you do. Oh, great, Kathy. This is my favorite thing to talk about, let me tell you, because it's so life-changing. There's a couple stories. I've taught about sending blessings to, I facilitated a class for about 15 years for people with disabilities and those experiencing homelessness every Thursday night. And definitely the class I taught on sending blessings was the most impactful. I've had people come up to me years later and say they may not remember exactly what to say, and that doesn't matter. It's from here. It's sending love from your heart. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if you use pretty words or whatever. It's just sending love from here. I have had a woman that was driving and she narrowly missed a car crash. And she was sending blessings. She was sending love. When she saw it happening, she just started sending love. Anytime I drive by something that has a police officer, emergency personnel, I send the blessing. I send blessings that professional, the police officer, fireman, whatever, is in their right job, that they live in integrity and compassion. Blessings for gratitude for how they keep our community safe, and blessings of gratitude for safety in their job. To me, if we all did that, that would alleviate so many problems that we have had in police forces and that kind of thing, because we would infuse love into this situation, and we would let people know they're worthy of not getting hurt at work. Okay. Hey, Lynda, I was just curious. What was an event you can recall that opened the door for you to genuinely share blessings from your heart? Man, Reginald, this happens all the time. When I was working, I worked with a coworker who I didn't get along with. I'll just say that. He wasn't quite as hard working as I felt I was. Somebody can probably relate to that. So I started sending him blessings. And he had another job on the side that he would kind of do sometimes during work. But he was a great dad. And I would send him blessings that he was in his right job. That's a really powerful one, that he was in his right job. And I don't even know if I sent anything else. And he was in a right job and lived in integrity and compassion. That was it. What happened was, about 4 months later, he left where I was working, and he just did his self-employment had gone, grown enough that he could quit his full-time job and just do that. So when I sent that blessing, I didn't send it out of anger. I really sent it out of love. And what happened was his life improved because he was able to not be so busy. He was able to focus more on his kids and just do the one job instead of both of them. So yeah, that's definitely one that I did recently. Another kind of weird thing I do, that's a great practice of sending blessings, is when I'm reading the paper and I see the obituaries, I just send a blessing of gratitude for all those people. This is a blessing I send when anyone passes, but I send them a blessing of gratitude for the love that they are, the contribution that they made to this world, blessings of gratitude that they cross over into the loving arms of those who have passed before them in the perfect time, and blessings of gratitude for love and support for the loved ones they leave behind. So I just do that as I read the paper. So just to send a little bit of love. Really, when you're watching the news, you have a choice, right? Life is always about choice. So when you're watching the news, you can watch the news and think, oh my God, that politician, I can't stand that politician, whatever. And you can get into this place where we would just perpetuate this hate. We just perpetuate it, anger and hate. Or you can send a blessing. Blessings of gratitude for the situation. There's some situations that are so tough right now. So a blessing of gratitude that the people involved live in integrity and compassion, see themselves as a perfect expression of source, completely loved by the universe, and that whatever's in the highest good is what's happening. Okay, if we're going to choose whom we share the blessing, would it be needy or to the deserving? Jared, we're all both. We're all both. I've worked with people experiencing homelessness for many years, for 16 years. And one of the things I learned, they're all deserving. Some of the people I worked with, I really believe that one of the main reasons for homelessness is grief, overwhelming grief, and abuse as a child. Almost everyone I worked, at least 90% of the people I worked with, at least, had been abused as a child. And one woman, I asked her, were you abused as a child? And she said, no. She said, my parents would lock me in the closet sometime, but they didn't abuse me. That's abuse. So that child abuse takes away someone's feeling of worth. And when you don't feel you're worthy, you can make choices that lead to homelessness. A lot of, things can happen. So all of us are worthy of love. All of us need more love, no matter what we've done. No matter what we've done, all of us are worthy of love. So sending love is a beautiful thing. We're all in this together, guys. We're not separate. When you felt like you weren't deserving of the blessings you received, yes. I think all of us feel that way too. Yes, Megan, there were definitely times. I'm still working on feeling like I'm worthy. I use a therapist right now who's helping me see the times in my life when things were tough, but I'm still worthy. I'm still worthy of the blessings flowing to me. So I hope you see that in yourself, Megan. I really do. As a matter of fact, let me read this beautiful blessing that I just love, because I think the more we can lift, one of the blessings I say, actually, for everyone who has done any of my classes or buys any of my books, I send a blessing of gratitude that our energies have crossed and that we can lift each other up together. I can lift you up by the words that I say. You can lift me up by encouraging me and buying my book or my class or whatever. So it's just so beautiful, isn't it? That we're in this together and we can help each other. We really can help lift each other up. Okay, so here's a great blessing. I am unique. The love that governs the universe cherishes me completely. In Creator's eyes, I am infinitely precious. And make sure you change the words. Some people have a lot of baggage around the word God or Jesus or whatever it might be. Change the word to something you don't have baggage with. Change it to love. Change it to universe. Change it to source. Change it to creator. Whatever is comfortable for you. Knowing that the universe, it doesn't matter. It's all about the energy of love. The energy of love that goes out. Oh, one of the things too I want to say, there's this another good way to look at life, and this is also what really helped me through my kids' teenagers. This says, bless the challenge and focus on the solution. Sometimes it can be so easy for us to just be grateful for the good times in our lives, but really the challenges are where we learn the most. Really, the challenges that my kids went through in high school helped me become who I am today. They taught me about the value of life. Having a kid that's going through life-threatening allergic reactions monthly teaches you, man, I better let people know that I love them if I love them. I'm going to tell them. Her and I, we tell each other every time we get off the phone, I love you, because we have no idea when it's the last time. You can't say it enough. Mean it, anyway, so this is a dear friend of mine, and we were doing a class and the room was freezing cold. So she went, I always had, donated clothing in my office, and she went in and she picked out this sweater and this scarf thing and wore it through the rest of the meeting. So she blessed the challenge. She's like, okay, yeah, it's cold, it's a pain in the butt. I can do something about it. I'm going to focus on the solution. You are always worth focusing on the solution and blessing the challenge. Don't get down in the, oh God, this is so hard what I'm going through. It doesn't really serve anyone. You might have times when you do that. You might have times when you have to say, this is tough. I need help. Definitely. This is tough. I need help. But I'm going to send some blessings. I'm going to accept the help in, and I'm going to know that I'm worthy. Definitely. So like I said, I talk about this in the book, The Power of Imperfect Parents, which is also on audiobook. I said, I have forgotten to say that many times. And the ABCs of Stress Relief, which is an online class that you can sign up for on my website. And if you just click on it, there's a coupon code that will automatically give you 25% off. And honestly, if you want to do my ABCs of stress relief and you don't have the money for it, please just reach out for me. Please. I don't care if I made $20 or whatever, but I do care that you get the help you need to not be stressed. That's what I care about. So if you're in that situation, just let me know. If you need me to send you a free book, just let me know. I would much rather have you get it and be helped and lead a more loving, better life. Oh, you listened to my interview with Kate Delaney. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, I shared about holding a space of love. So, certainly, holding a space of love, that's something I talked about with Kate because of my son's severe behaviors. So my son, when he has a severe behavior, which is usually from a transition, going from this to that, or, something like that. And he starts throwing things and like anything that's around him, he just starts throwing and hitting us and trying to hurt us. So we have to try to restrain him. And as we do that, to me, because people with Down syndrome, people on the autism spectrum, they are, and a lot of other people too, they are so sensitive to energies. If I would approach that with anger and be like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that, I'm going to do, whatever, he would feed off that and it would get worse, not better. So as we're restraining him, I hold a space of love. Sometimes I see a love bubble around people where nothing that can touch them, they can't be touched by anything except love. I sometimes sing Hu, which is the ancient word for God. It's Hu, and it's sung about middle C. That can change the energy in a room. Before this call, I set the intention of love, that I would say what people needed to hear. My heart and mind would be open to say what somebody needed me to say. And I sent blessings of gratitude for all of you that are on the call. And now that you're on the call, I will send you blessings every morning. I send blessings, like I said, of gratitude that our energies have crossed and that we have the ability to lift each other up. And then I send blessings for other things. But if you're in a space where the energy is tense, just see love, just see a beautiful, loving light. You can't do it wrong. Just, think about love. Moments when you wanted to give up. That's a really good question. Honestly, I think during those times, I'm in an Al-Anon group because my husband was an alcoholic, and I'm in an Al-Anon group learning so much about myself and about what happens when you live with an alcoholic. And a young lady came up to me who also has twins, and her husband's an alcoholic. And she said, how did you do it? And I said, you know what? I pretended everything was fine. That's not really what you should do, guys. But I just made up this story. I didn't even know I was doing it. I didn't know I was doing it. But I just made up that everything was fine. Everything's fine. And I just kind of went through my day on autopilot. So I don't even think I allowed myself to feel that I was so overwhelmed. I just couldn't do it. I'm beginning now to allow myself to feel, to break down those walls. I'm actually working on an article series that will be on my blog on discovering myself, on doing that work to really figure out who I am and allowing myself to see the good and the bad and why I made the choices that I did. So that will be coming out to my blog too. Dowsing rods and thoughts. How can someone keep thoughts of love despite their bad environment? That can be very challenging. To me, Ben, it's kind of like, for instance, some of the people that I worked with that were homeless, some of them will get into low income housing. And very often in low-income housing, you have a whole apartment building of people who what maybe you're mentioning, a bad environment, people who are have addiction issues that they haven't dealt with. They have some mental health issues. They have abuse. They have been abused as kids. So they have this very negative energy, not all the time. I'm not talking about all the time, but very often a majority of people in these low income housing have low energy. When you have low energy, and the very lowest of energy is shame. When you have low energy, shame or guilt, you're going to pull into your life more things that are resonating at that energy, more things to bring you shame and guilt. So just like you're saying, Ben, when you live, if you are somebody really working on your energy, working on yourself, you have worked on your addiction and you're doing great, and they throw you in a housing place where everyone else's energy is so low, I say it's kind of like going swimming and not expecting to get wet. It takes a lot. Like if I was in that situation every day, I would put a barrier, a love bubble around myself. And I would say, nothing can reach me today except love. And I would focus on that. And I would say it 1,000 times a day. I am worthy. I am love. Some other things that raise your energy: love, gratitude, raise your energy. So being grateful, sending blessings to all the people in that building, sending blessings to the people around that are creating that bad environment. Send them blessings all the time, all the time. And a blessing you might send in that situation: oh, thanks, Reginald. I feel it. I feel it. It feels good. No, 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 no. But send them blessings that they see, that like this blessing that they see themselves. I am unique. The love that governs the universe cherishes me completely. Send them that blessing. I send you blessings that you see your beautiful uniqueness. You see that the love that governs the universe cherishes you completely. It does not matter what you've done. It does not matter that all you feel is shame. The universe doesn't care. The universe sees you, the real you. And the real you, I hate the word them, but the real people or whatever you're sending blessings to, it cherishes them no matter what. Yeah. In her eyes, I am infinitely precious. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. So I really hope you guys will start using blessings, because it is powerful. Powerful. Rose. Oh, that's the last question. You probably said that a long time ago. I just now saw it. All right, guys. I am sending every one of you love and blessings and such gratitude that you are here. Sorry, Rose, I didn't look at my chat. Okay. Blessings to all of you. Have a great weekend.